company is your baby. It's your child. And, I mean, you've been in business for a long time. I came into this and opened this business in 2011.
9 years ago.
Yeah. And from the infancy stage, you want to cradle and make sure that it represents well.
But that
eye.
first trade show you did to this trade show,
totally different.
mentally. I'm talking about mentally. I'm not talking about the amount of people. I'm talking about how you came into it, how you approach it, what you thought of it, whatever anxiety you had prior or less.
Yeah, a lot of the small stuff.
Right.
You don't sweat.
Because I remember having anxiety when I used to do PM, like going back. Sorry, this is my 31st year. 31 years ago, I had anxiety coming here.
You know, it's like
I couldn't give a shit.
Like I remember going to my very first trade show. That was,
right.
What do I pack?
Connects, Prism.
Yeah,
right.
And I didn't really think about the whole marketing and branding thing. I thought I was going to go sell. I'm going to grab a contact, and I'm going to show my portfolio, go through a list of trades, not realizing how stupid that is. People don't care when they come to trade shows. They don't.
Business-to-business trade shows, and I want to make that specific because we got a lot of listeners. Business-to-business trade shows are not about selling.
No, it isn't. Right? They want to know, Stadia, glass and door, perfect.
Yeah, Promain.
Exterior maintenance and construction.
Got it.
Done.
Byrne, got it. Filtrex, got it.
Yeah. How far do you go?
Yeah.
They want the Coles notes.
Right.
They don't care if you do.
I actually think they also want to know if they can. Sorry, now take the brand away.
Yeah.
Now they go. Can I connect with the human there? With the human that's there? Can I just? And all I need is 10 seconds of connection.
Well, this is where you and I, as business owners, we want to boost our brand. Brand recognition. We want to get that return coming back, but we also try to utilize this time to meet new people, socialize, and create some intimacy with our clients.
But it's for
they're down here, and we want to make it fun for them as well.
And staff, it's a staff. No, don't. It's funny. The staff are your staff. If you have self-esteem issues or if you have ego issues, and what I mean is fragile.
Yes.
There's a ton of rejection here, and a ton of people don't make eye contact. And you said about you and Dylan playing, because if you didn't, it would feel like you're being hurt by people's negative energy. And I'm a positive negative energy guy.
I think Dylan and I come from a same background where we've probably been rejected a few times.
Well, you got a good you got a great self-esteem. You like yourself.
Yeah, and I'm okay if people are interested. I want to have fun with people. I'm not trying to sell you.
But you're self-aware enough to know that you're a good person, and whatever negative energy people put on Anthony Vinzi is irrelevant because you're a good person. Where I think if you had a self-esteem or an ego problem, so I think you have a great ego, and I think you should have you in your business. Sorry, as an entrepreneur, never mind a sales guy. As an entrepreneur, if you don't have a strong ego and you don't have a strong sense of self-worth, and I don't mean being arrogant, ripping people down. I mean I just know I'm good for being good. I think that it's very, very hurtful. I've seen a lot of guys fail, not because they weren't good at building widgets, because they weren't good at building themselves. Yeah. Taking care of me, right? Making sure I'm safe, making sure I feel good about me, making sure I didn't beat the shit out of myself. You and Dylan having fun.
But Dylan and I we'll high-five the cleaning lady. It doesn't matter. We're not looking at lanyards. So what do you do? What do you do?
Right, but that's a preservation of your good energy, right? Of your positive energy.
I think, at these shows, and I think what a lot of these people that have booths clue out of is they're constantly looking at target. Treat everybody's a potential target. Do you want to be well liked by people?
Hashtag me too. I can't handle looking down at a woman's boobs.
Well, that's another.
The tags are all here, and you're doing this. You're like, okay, I can't handle it. I actually told Connects that they should make every single badge the same color.
Just put on your forehead.
Every single badge. They should not make any of the badges. And they should take away everybody's name, company name, and just put your name, double, triple size of your name.
I think that's important when you're dealing with association, like Connects, like for instance.
Okay, so PM Expo, by the way, is a trade show independent from associations. Connects is an association-oriented trade show.
So the association is to bring two parties together with some common values that they want to improve.
In equality. So if you're going to do
equality, together. We're creating strategic partnership.
Okay, we won't talk for too much longer because you and I can ramble. But the inclusiveness and the political correctness of today's society, and then you go into a trade show and everybody's wearing a different colored badge. Okay, you want to talk about
isolation. Black
Lives Matter? We're looking for black badges. You know what I mean? Okay, take away all the colors.
Yeah, we've always mentioned the colors should be gone.
Colors should be gone. So this is a different trade show. You actually want to know when you're dealing with external people are coming in here. PM Expo, students, government.
Yeah, I've met all walks of life.
So I actually kind of understand the whole idea of identifying whether I'm government or students.
I still think you should give your time to every single person that walks by. Doesn't matter.
Totally, I agree.
You know what? Positive energy brings positive outcome.
But Connect is an isolated little group. I'm not sure why we have colors. Everybody should be the same.
Yeah.
And maybe have a slot off the side for your business card.
Yeah.
But everybody has the same.
Because at the end of the day, you want to work with people you like. For me, I'm all relationship based. My clients,
too.
I genuinely like them. And if I don't get along with them, you know what? Hey, it was a great run, but it's not
I
gonna
told
work.
a brand new client the other day who called up very grumpy that he had. This is here at the show, and I answered, hi, because I'm 0 at Stadia, right? When you press 0, you get me. So guy gets it, and a lot of negative energy. I could feel it. You know, you can feel when somebody's not in the right headspace. She had a lot of negative energy. I'm like, you have a lot of negative energy. I said, I'm not sure if I can work with you.
Oh.
And he went, what? And I went, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll help you. You hang on to my cell phone. You can call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I'm going to send you 3 or 4 of my competitors' names. And he said, why? I said, because I feel a lot of negative energy from you, and I'm worried that I won't be able to manage that.
Yeah, but when you have a solid
Should
relationship
have heard his
with
voice
people,
say, oh!
I know.
On his
I
phone,
know.
he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, your negative energy is killing me.
But even at that, even when you do terminate that, having that whole thing and acknowledging that, you know what, it may be me, maybe you. I just don't see that there's a good connection going on here.
That's okay.
But it's okay.
I don't want to work. So it's funny, too, even my own supply chain. Sorry, and you can tell me all the procurement rules and regulations. I couldn't give a flying fuck. If I don't like you, I don't want you.
Yeah.
I don't care what your price. I don't care if you're 10 cents less. Like if I had and we spend a lot of money with suppliers, and we open up bids.
Yeah.
Okay, I literally have opened up a bid of a guy that was super low and went, I don't like him. I don't like him, the person,
But I
not
think
the
even
product of the
when
company.
we were talking to some other retailers before that you've interviewed. It's not all about price.
It's never about price. It's a lie. We all know how much.
And we've talked about this many times.
A 3 foot by 3 foot asphalt patch costs. You know how much it is. You know where they dig down 1 inch, 5 inches, 10 inches. You know how much
And
a
this is where I think
catch basin costs. You just know what it costs. Don't tell me you don't.
This is where getting into a relationship with your client that is chemistry based versus forced marriage or necessity.
Right.
Is you want them to tell you, listen, you got to do something with this.
Well, they all know how much everything costs. I tell this story all the time, but I can't remember the guy's name now. Enzo at 525 University Avenue. I've said the story before in the air.
Enzo. Okay, go
I
on.
can't remember his name.
He's
Enzo.
Italian?
Like Greek.
Well, Enzo's a big Italian name.
Anyway, so he calls up, and I know he's been in the building for 35, 40 years. Actually, I know he's kind of related to the family who owns it. And he calls up Stadia one day, and I picked up the phone. He said, I need a price for a piece of glass. And I said, Enzo, how long have you been in the building? And he goes, proudly, 41 years.
I'm a fixture.
I'm like, fuck, they need to fire you. And he's, pardon? They need to fucking fire you. You're an idiot. Why? Because if you don't know how much fucking how much it costs to change a piece of glass in your building after 42 years, you're a moron. And then he goes, oh, brings out laughter. I'm like, all right, so what are you doing? Are you trying to beat up the guy that you currently use? Did you have a fight with the guy you're currently using? Or do you actually want to change?
He's putting the thermometer in your butt to see where the temperature is at.
And he says, I actually want to change vendors. I said, so you know how much this costs. You've changed 1 million pieces of glass. Why don't you just tell me what the price is and what you want me to be?
Or why don't we go for a coffee and see if we get along?
I actually said, why don't you just tell me what you want me to be? And he goes, I'll send you the PO for $5,725. I said to him, Enzo, I appreciate your honesty, because the truth is he could have said 47, 37, and he knew it wasn't a race to the bottom.
But it was fair market value on that.
Right.
Anyway.
He wanted to be fair market value. He told me, he showed me the other guy's quote.
That's nice.
All he did was want to change contractors. He had a bad experience, wanted to change contractors, and he'd been doing it for so long, he knew exactly.
But
But
he's also doing it long enough to give you the right price from the beginning, because I don't want to be doing this for another month.
Right, because what's going to happen if I show up and he fucks me on the first one, I'm going to come back, whoa, that's worth $8,000, not 47. Like, did you get it? Like, he was so transparent.
And that's the Toronto market. When you start going into remote areas.
Yeah. But
that's a whole new topic there.
I like that. I like that he did that. Like, I've been doing this for 42 years. Here's what I pay. Can you do it? Because I want to switch.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Quickest sale.
Well, and listen, at the end of the day, unless somebody's come up with a brand new invention, the cost is the cost is the cost is the cost. Oh, and by the way, it's only going up. Nothing's gotten cheaper.
Do you find that your competitors invent things just to make them sound different?
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
But we all do.
We all do.
Right?
I get a kick out of hearing all the new, innovative virgin asphalt, virgin stone.
Yeah, we get the same thing. I mean, I'm in the service.
Going off topic, right, Al?
I'm in the service business, so we have a tendency of dealing with whatever. So unlike you, who's an aggregate organic,
Yep.
I'm in a manufactured business, and I have to follow suit. I'm because with Stadia glass and door specifically, the grid of wall is a certain color, and I got to find that color. That's my biggest.
You're finding the color.
So I have there's no. Hey, I found a brand new and improved 1984 bronze solar eclipse X117-23, 1-inch overall, 6 mil, 6 mil, half-inch airspace. There's no new.
Yeah.
Right. So So when Enzos of the world go, I need glass changed in a service-oriented market, they know how. Listen, Best Buy, Staples, Hudson's Bay, they go, Tim, I need a price for a new hollow metal fire-rated back door. I'm like, you already know how. You might as well write the PO.
Just write the PO and say,
you
here it is.
You might as well write the PO.
Instead of, would you like to accept this work order, yes or no, with an NT of whatever?
Yeah.
Just put the price. How fast can you do it?
I find it funny when they send you the NT for $300 on a hollow metal door, and you go,
is that a site visit charge?
Yeah, you're like, okay, you realize that it's $1,300 to change the door, and you already know this because you've changed. If you have Walmart with 18,000 stores, they change 10,000 hollow metal doors a year, and then they call you up and go, can I have a quote for a hollow metal door? You're like, you're kidding, right?
Why don't they just put site visit charge if required? Because that's what it is. I mean, who's putting the work orders in anyway?
That whole initial visit is all bullshit and stupid.
And I think you and I have also talked. You've talked with many people about the whole
burning cash. Those retailers are burning money.
Photos.
But those retailers smoke money with these whole initial visits, and then you get guys who go, well, you need a trip charge and blah blah blah. Well, you get a trip charge and the initial visit, and the guy still doesn't do fuck all and still sends in a quote. And you're like,
and
okay.
You're not allowed to talk to the manager as well.
Oh, nor can you talk to the end user, because a lot of these guys have put those middle work order companies in. So, and if the end user could actually just talk about their asset and not about a line item, big difference between talking about a line item on a GL, on a bank statement, than there is talking about the asset.
Definitely.
Right? So human interface with the asset, you almost need the owner to actively be involved, the owner of the asset or the person responsible for that to be involved.
Or make sure that his staff definitely understand the
That's why you need to talk to the store manager, too, when like trip hazards and stuff. Right? One Walmart, a half-inch threshold, not a trip hazard. Then you go to another area of the country, and it's all older people, and it's a massive trip hazard. Do you get it?
Yeah, and I find that
by store.
We're doing work with some retailers where you find province, depending which province or like a state would be in the U.S., certain managers, in terms of health and safety on their outside parking lots, whether it's concrete, asphalt, have certain thresholds that, there's no standard.
Well, regardless of the building code in the area.
And I apply building code when I go.
So do I. We do. Building code. Saying that, if you're dealing with young parents or young adults, or you're dealing with older people, a lot of times the manager themselves critique it to their marketplace and who they're dealing with in that local area.
Yeah. I'll have certain locations ask me to install more handicap accessible spots because they have an older...
Yeah, we've had people ask us to remove the automatic door sensors because they have homeless people out front. The doors are open automatically.
Yes.
Do you get it? Like they're literally... And they want... Right? And the standard MO for this brand is sensors, right? They want the carts to come in, and they go take them out. We want buttons because the homeless... So it really does become unique. It's a unique experience.
Each location has its own challenge.
Regardless of how badly you want to homogenize your business,
it's hard.
You still have a unique experience at every location.
Look at shopping carts on the grocery end. Any of these inner city places, those grocery carts are, $300-$400 to $500-$600 a piece.
Yeah.
And they need to keep them on site.
Yeah.
So they have those visible sensors around the parking lots to make sure that those buggies lock up so they don't go disappearing down the street.
Yeah,
with some homeless guy, and it's like,
Okay, do you got staff here today?
Today I told them to start preparing all of our Christmas giveaways.
You don't have them down here?
No.
This is going to be the huge day.
That's why I'm here.
You only need the Vinzi.
I only need to be here. And I think that at the end of the day...
I posted you naked on LinkedIn.
I know you did. That was our So you and I we've had so many antics. I mean, French fry throwing.
Oh my God, that's what I said. The nighttime stuff, it's super fun, especially when you're.
Yeah.
It's lonely, and when you have a buddy to hang out with, it makes it nice for breakfast. Makes it nice for when you finish the night and you got a whole bunch of things going on in your head.
And I think a lot of people kind of get weirded out. They don't understand, or they say, "But how are they friends?" European, clean cut, not crazy, short. You get the loud eccentric.
Why are you laughing, Alex Byrne?
I'm put together. Better looking, ugly, old. Younger. Mind you, we had that guy the other day
He thought you were super old.
We went to Two Men's United to grab your outfit.
Four men united, not two.
Two, three, four men and a baby.
2 guys died. It was a car accident last month. It's only 2 guys.
It was a drive-by shooting.
It is Woodbridge. There could have been a shooting there.
Yeah.
He thought you were super old.
He thought I was old.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to give me a compliment.
That's good. And you thought it was because of me. That was the best part.
He thought he was giving me a compliment. I think as I got the gray going in the beard, and he's like, "You and I,
and he was like 102.
We come from the same generation. He says, we're the same age, no?" And I'm like, "How old do you think I am?" "Probably the same age as I am." The guy was 10 years older than I was. I said, "Thanks. You made me feel great."
How old are you? 45.
45. The beard ages me a little bit.
I'm 52.
Hanging out with you, you're old. Ages me a little bit too.
Nobody can keep up with fucking me. Okay, before we end, let's talk about Schlep Rock with the podcast that the Connects guys have been using. I want to talk about it. What's the name of that podcast? Facility and Property Management Radio Secrets. He's doing it out of the West Coast somewhere.
Yeah, he's an HVAC company.
I listened to a show. I'm going to let you know right now there's been no secrets. None. Currently right now I'm not wearing any underwear. There you go. See, I can give a secret. That guy didn't say one secret. No, there should be nothing on there that I went, ooh, secret.
Well, if it was a secret, he wouldn't be talking about it.
Right?
But it's okay. No, he's well-spoken. I listened to it
really
for a
well-spoken. I like it.
I like him. Javier, I think his name is?
No, I liked it. By the way, he's got 9 episodes out. 8? He's got 8 episodes?
He's got a good voice for podcasts.
I remember when we started and my shitty, icky podcast. Mind you, mine's a bit more raw and fucked up, and I swear, nobody else swears.
You've evolved. I won't say you've matured, but you've
I
evolved.
haven't matured.
You've evolved. And I think that in terms of content, and I think because podcast is it wasn't new, but it was new for our industry type deal.
Yeah, it was new for our industry.
And I always laugh because we went to Prism at the time, and funny enough, you and I didn't even, I don't know what happened. We went for breakfast, and we missed the keynote speaker, which was Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
Gary Vaynerchuk, and they said, oh, it was great. He was talking about that our industry needs to have podcasts. And you had started maybe 3-4 months prior to that whole conversation.
Yeah. I'm 2 years this year doing it.
Yeah?
And this has almost become full-time. Is that helium?
I think
oh, nice. Okay. This is like smoking a marijuana cigarette, which we're allowed to do in Canada. Ready?
So, how big is your penis?
My penis. Hold on a second.
Okay.
We represent the Lollipop Cube.
Oh, you're the flatulence.
It's coming back.
So what you were saying about the last show?
I just put my pants.
Follow the Yellow Brick Road.
Anthony, thanks for coming on the show again.
Thank you, brother. Always a pleasure.
I love you to death.
Love you too, buddy.
I'm glad Promain's done so well. I really am. This is Tim Byrne.
Bro.
This is Tim Byrne Almost Live. I'm with Anthony Vinzi from Promain Exterior Maintenance. We are at PM Expo, and we'll see you next week.